The silverback's eyes don't blink. He sits motionless behind thick glass, his massive chest rising with each slow breath. Children scream and laugh around the enclosure, but his gaze is fixed, locked on a woman standing alone. Django doesn't move, but the air seems to shift, charged, humming with something ancient. She doesn't look away. The woman, mid-30s, clutches her camera bag and squints at the information plaque, oblivious at first. She smiles faintly, admiring the gorilla's strength, the depth in his eyes. Then he shifts, just a twitch of muscle, and she looks up. Their eyes meet, and something clicks. The woman's smile fades. Her face tightens, heart thudding. Django's nostrils flare. His breathing deepens. In the crowd, a father notices the gorilla's sudden stillness and pulls his daughter back. Django rises slowly, arms longer than a man's body dragging through the straw. His lip curls slightly. Visitors back away instinctively. The woman remains still, caught in his stare. Her hands tremble, but she doesn't move. A loud thump rattles the enclosure, then another. Django is pounding the glass. The crowd gasps. A zookeeper's voice crackles over the loudspeaker, telling people to step away. But no one moves. They're frozen. The gorilla charges. It happens in a blur. 400 pounds of fury slams into the barrier. A shockwave echoes through the exhibit. The reinforced glass, built to withstand even the strongest blows, splinters with a deafening crack. Screams erupt. Parents yank children away. Phones fly out. Some run, some freeze. A teenage girl drops her slushie. Red ice seeps toward the shattered glass like blood. The woman stumbles back, her face pale. Her eyes never leave Django's. Her breath comes in sharp gasps. Security rushes in, shouting. Alarms blare from the walls. Django stands still, breathing hard, fists clenched. A web of fractures blooms across the glass like lightning. He lifts one hand, massive, calloused, and slaps the barrier one final time. A single panel caves in. Panic explodes. People scream. Feet stomp. A stroller tips. Security yells into radios. The woman backs into a bench and collapses. She tries to crawl away, but her legs feel like stone. Two staff members drag her toward the gate, ducking behind the rock wall. Django does not pursue. He steps forward and stands at the opening, chest heaving, lips slightly parted. A deep, guttural sound rises in his throat, not a roar. Something lower, sadder. He doesn't climb through, doesn't flee. He just stands, watching the empty space where the woman was seconds ago. In the control room, zookeepers stare at the footage in disbelief. A shattered enclosure, a gorilla that had never acted out. One man points at the woman on the screen. "Who is she?" he asks. Another shakes his head slowly. She knew better than to hold eye contact like that, but he knew her. Black screen, sirens in the distance. Django's breathing slows. He turns and disappears into the shadowed edge of the enclosure, vanishing without a sound. Outside the enclosure, the woman paces in the break room, eyes hollow, fingers trembling around a paper cup of untouched water. Her name is Leah. No one asks if she's okay. They're too busy trying to figure out what just happened. Across the compound, a dozen zoo staff members gather in the security office, watching the incident on loop. Each time, the same question tightens in the air. Why her? Zookeeper Ravi squints at the screen, arms crossed tight. He's seen Django for 5 years, never once aggressive, never even agitated. Yet in those 5 seconds, he became something else. He rewinds again, slows the footage. It's not rage in Django's eyes. It's something deeper, older. They pause on the moment their eyes lock. Ravi leans closer. He knows her, he says under his breath. Meanwhile, Leah sits slumped in a folding chair, rubbing her temples. A young staffer named Cassie enters quietly and places a cold compress on the table. "You sure you're not hurt?" she asks. Leah shakes her head, doesn't look up. "I didn't mean to upset him," she whispers. Her voice is hoarse, eyes still fixed on the floor. "He just looked at me like he remembered something." Back in the office, Ravi storms to a locked cabinet, flinging open files from years ago. He scans intake records, transport documents, health assessments. Django was rescued from a defunct research facility in rural Nevada. One of the worst they'd ever seen: isolated cages, overstimulated animals, no enrichment, psychological trauma in nearly every primate. And then it hits him. Ravi yanks a yellowed folder from the bottom drawer. Harrington Behavioral Lab, 2013. Inside, photos of young gorillas, experimental schedules, volunteer rosters. He flips through fast, then stops cold. There she is, Leah, younger, smiling, holding a clipboard, wearing a red scarf. His stomach sinks. He takes the file and walks back toward the break room. Each step feels heavier. He pushes the door open, holding the paper in both hands. Leah looks up. Their eyes meet. She sees what he's holding and instantly turns pale. "You worked at Harrington," he says. Leah's lips part, but no sound comes out. She finally nods. I was in college, volunteering. I didn't know what was happening in the back rooms. They kept us separated. I was just there to record data on responses." Ravi's voice hardens. "Django was there." She stares at him. "What?" "You tested human eye contact responses on juvenile gorillas. That was your study." He tosses the folder on the table. "And Django was one of them." Her breath catches. She drops the compress. "That can't be. That was over 10 years ago." He remembered. Ravi's voice drops to a near whisper. "And when he saw your face, that trauma came flooding back." Leah presses a hand over her mouth. Her knees shake. Her memories blur: the fluorescent lights, the glass cages, the echoing cries. She thought she left it behind. But Django hadn't. Outside, Django sits alone in his darkened enclosure, back turned to the shattered wall, not pacing, not roaring, just still. Security asks if tranquilization is necessary. Ravi shakes his head. Number? He's not dangerous. He's hurt. Blackout. Django hasn't eaten in 2 days. He ignores the fruit, the enrichment toys, the calls from his keepers. He crouches in the far corner of his holding area, muscles tight, breath shallow, eyes burning with something that no one can name. Not anger, not fear, grief. Leah stands on the observation deck above the quarantine space, staring through the glass that now separates her from him again. This one's stronger, reinforced. But it still trembles beneath the weight of memory. Her heart feels the same, cracked, but not yet broken. Ravi walks up beside her, holding an old flash drive. "I pulled more from the Harrington archives," he says. "There's footage. I thought you should see it." She hesitates, then nods. They walk to the control room and Ravi loads the file. The grainy video shows a juvenile gorilla, smaller than Django is now, but unmistakable. Dark eyes, cautious movements, constantly flinching at the edges of human approach. The footage zooms in. A red scarf flickers across the screen. Leah gasps. "That's me," she whispers. She watches herself walk into the enclosure, face bright, clipboard in hand, red scarf tied neatly. She kneels, staring at the juvenile. The trainer behind her gestures. "Hold eye contact," he instructs off-screen. "Don't blink." Young Django shudders. He presses against the back wall. He tries to look away, but each time he does, the trainer claps, loud, sharp, deliberate, conditioning. The trainer shouts again, "Maintain stare, increase proximity." The screen freezes. Leah's shoulders shake. "I didn't know," she says, voice cracking. "I thought it was just behavioral mapping. I didn't know they were hurting him." Ravi nods slowly. They weren't just testing responses. They were eroding instincts, forcing unnatural compliance. Every human face became a threat, especially the ones that didn't blink. And now, 10 years later, he'd seen that same face, that same scarf, that same stare. Leah breaks. She stands abruptly and backs into the wall, chest heaving. He remembered everything. 1 second of eye contact, and it pulled him right back in. In the enclosure, Django slaps the wall once, an echo through the hallway, not aggressive, rhythmic, measured. Ravi turns to the audio panel and adjusts the frequency. Low pulses, guttural hums. Django is vocalizing, not threats, not warning, mourning. He's reliving it, Ravi says. The enclosure, the glass, your face, it's all coming back. I need to see him, Leah says suddenly. Ravi blinks. What? Not through cameras, not through a window. I need to see him, not as a volunteer, as a human, one who understands what she was a part of. Ravi hesitates. That's not protocol. I don't care. Later, as night falls, Leah approaches the reinforced viewing window again, alone. She wears no scarf, no clipboard, just silence. Django shifts. She kneels. Their eyes meet. No trainer, no commands, just recognition. Django does not roar. He does not retreat. He slowly walks toward the glass, stopping inches away. For the first time in a decade, no one blinks. Rain taps against the concrete as dawn breaks over the zoo. The air is cool, still, full of waiting. Inside the secure enclosure, the team finishes locking in the final safety barriers. At the center stands a new cage, small, controlled, and reinforced. This is where it will happen. Leah stands just outside the door, arms wrapped tightly around herself. Her clothes are plain, no scent, no scarf. Her breathing is shallow. Ravi stands beside her, radio in hand. We don't have to do this, he says. He's not asking for closure. You are. She doesn't respond. Instead, she looks through the mesh at Django. He's pacing again, slow, deliberate, not wild, but focused, as if preparing for something. They wait for the signal. Ravi nods once. The gate clicks open. Leah steps into the entry chamber. No one else moves. Every zookeeper watches from monitors, fingers hovering over tranquilizer controls. The team's nerves buzz like static. Django freezes. He turns his head. She's here. Leah doesn't move. She lowers herself to the ground slowly, palms open, eyes down, not submissive, but respectful. Every heartbeat thunders in her ears. Django takes one step forward, then another. No roar, no rush. He stops just feet from her, on the other side of the inner mesh gate. They stare. She reaches into her jacket and pulls out a soft, faded scrap of red fabric, the scarf. Torn, washed out by time. She lays it gently on the ground between them. Django's chest rises sharply, his head tilts. A low rumble escapes his throat, not hostile, not confused, something softer, tentative. Leah speaks, quiet, even. I'm sorry, she says. I didn't protect you back then. I should have known. Django shifts his weight. He crouches, knuckles to the floor, staring at the scarf. She slides it slightly closer. Behind the glass, Ravi holds his breath. Then it happens. Django steps forward, slowly. One massive hand reaches out, almost curious. He touches the fabric, picks it up. Silence. He doesn't crush it, doesn't throw it. He lifts it to his chest and holds it. Leah swallows the lump in her throat. Django lowers to the ground, sitting opposite her now. Just feet away. Close enough to reach out, but he doesn't. He just watches. His body relaxes. The tension dissolves. They stay like that for minutes that feel like lifetimes. Two creatures from two worlds, connected by one memory neither asked to carry. Then he moves again. He rises, turns his back, and walks away. Not in rejection, in peace. The gate buzzes. Ravi signals her out. As Leah steps backward, she looks over her shoulder one last time. Django is sitting near the center of the enclosure, scarf still in hand, head bowed. She leaves without a word. Outside, the zoo is quiet. The sky clears. And for the first time since the glass shattered, Django sleeps. The zoo reopens 3 days later. The glass has been replaced. Visitors return. Laughter returns. But something in the air feels different, quieter, as if everyone's still listening for a sound they don't quite understand. Django's enclosure looks the same, but the legend has changed. He no longer hides in the corner, no longer paces. Instead, he sits beneath the fig tree, holding the faded red scarf in his lap, like a memory he's chosen not to let go of. Visitors press against the glass, snapping photos. They don't know the whole story, but they sense something reverent in the way he watches them, never hostile, never trusting, just aware. Inside the zoo's education center, Leah now speaks twice a week, not about gorillas, but about trauma, animal and human. Memory lives in more than the mind, she tells school groups. It lives in the body, in the silence, in the stare. Her voice doesn't shake anymore. Ravi stands at the back of each talk, arms folded, listening with quiet pride. The staff has stopped calling Django dangerous. They now call him something else. Sentinel, the one who remembers. Across social media, the incident goes viral, not for the shattered glass, but for what came after. The footage of Leah kneeling before the great ape, silent, vulnerable, human, circulates like wildfire. Experts weigh in. Can gorillas really remember faces? Do they hold grudges? Is this proof of emotional trauma in primates? The zoo receives hundreds of letters. One in crayon simply says, "I'm sorry they hurt you. I would never stare at you like that. Love, Ruby, age 6." Outside Django's enclosure, a new plaque is installed. It reads, "He did not break the glass out of rage. He broke it to be seen." Some argue against the sentiment, others defend it passionately. But no one forgets it. Leah stops by his habitat each morning. She never stays long, never speaks, just offers her presence. And Django, always still, always watching, blinks slowly in return. One morning she arrives to find something different. The scarf is gone. In its place lies a single, untouched orange, peeled and placed carefully near the glass. It's Django's favorite fruit. A keeper smiles at her from across the way. "He left it for you?" Leah kneels, breath caught. Then she smiles. Not for him, for both of them. Later that week, the board reviews a proposal from Ravi and the staff to transform part of the zoo into a sanctuary-style habitat. More space, less spectacle, more dignity. The plan is approved. Django is the first to move in. On his first day in the new habitat, he climbs a natural rock ledge, sits beneath open sky, and looks out, not at people, not at cages, but at trees swaying in the wind. He closes his eyes and breathes. Sometimes the most powerful memories aren't spoken. They're seen in a stare, felt in a silence, or shattered in a single moment. Django didn't break the glass because he was wild. He broke it because he remembered. And in that memory, a world of pain resurfaced, a world shaped by human hands. But in the space between fear and forgiveness, something unexpected happened: understanding. This story isn't just about a gorilla, it's about all of us, how we treat what we don't understand, and how healing begins not with words, but with presence. If this story moved you, share it. Let others see what happens when compassion meets consequence. Hit like to honor Django's journey. Drop a comment. Have you ever seen an animal remember something you didn't expect? And subscribe for more stories that reveal the heart behind the wild. Because behind every roar, there's a reason. Behind every stare, a story.